Hello and welcome everyone to the Naval Sports League Preseason Match 4. Today we have an exciting match here bringing to you the Royal Black Fleet fighting against the Leviathans, both of them for the first time in this league. With me today here in the studio, if you will, is Amit. Hello Amit.
Thank you for the welcome, Warble. Very excited to be here.
Yeah, maybe I should have mentioned that. My name is Walworth. I'm standing in as commentator today for Lemerc. Usually I'm the second commentator. Today I'll try my hand at the first, and Amit is basically my replacement in this role. And we have, again, a wonderful staff here of correspondents who will be on the ground, or well, on the decks of the ships and giving us close-up reports during the battle. So we will have, as correspondents, on the French team, on the capital ship of theirs, a 13-gun, we'll have Wavy. Hello, Wavy.
Hello, I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad you're here, yeah. And on the British 13-gun, we'll have Lucius. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Yeah, excited definitely for this match. On the first French 8-gun, we will have my co-commentator Amit in a double role. So, well, I already said hi. So I'm carrying on to the British first 8-gun, where we will have Mika once again. Hello, Mika.
Hello there. Nice to be here again.
Okay, and hopefully, Sabo, will you be able to join us? And if so, which ship will you be on?
Hopefully I do, and the electrical company doesn't screw up again. I'll be on the second French gun for you, of the 8-gun.
Lovely. Thank you. Okay, so let's see if is there anyone even here on Twitch. Yes, I already see comments in the Twitch chat, so we are the live is working. Okay, so today we will have two teams, both of which we haven't seen except individual players as mercenaries playing in this. And just in case we have anyone watching who has not been watching this before or who doesn't really know what's up with this whole NSL business, the Naval Sports League is played in Holdfast Nations at War in the naval mode, in custom maps specifically made for this league. There are two teams, and they'll only be fighting one match. Each team will have one 13-gun and 4 8-gun schooners, and a pool of gunboats and rocket boats, from which they're allowed to crew 2 at any given time, and if one of them is sunk, they can crew a new one. And the gunboats and rocket boats don't count towards a win or loss, but any sunk 8-gun or 13-gun does, and either the team who first loses all of their 8-guns and 13-guns loses, or the team in the end who has more ships left wins. And if they have an equal number of ships left, then the team with the 13-gun surviving wins, and if both teams have the exact same number and composition of ships left in the end, then it's going by points. So which team got more points. Right, so today these two teams, we have on the French side today the Leviathans. Leviathans are a team made up of only a single regiment, ex-Lemerc's pirate fleet, who are also basically the initiators of this league. And on the British team, we'll have the Royal Black Fleet. They are made up of 3 regiments, which are the 8th LR, the FRL, and the 26th Regiment. And that is, well, they swapped it up a bit. Initially, the BLCK was supposed to be in the Royal Black Fleet, but now the 26th is. But they did that all before this today, their first match, so we should be good. And so, Amit, what do you think these two teams? We've seen in the past weeks that in a team, communication is very important, right? So do you think it'll make a difference if there's like 1 or 3 regiments in a team?
I absolutely do think it does matter. I'll tell you this: I learned a lot of what I know just by observing the X fighting on their own ships. You know, in the normal battles, when my own regiment's ships would go down, we'd connect or respawn on one of the X's ships, perhaps if they were on our team, and I would see people like we talked about Seawolf last week. You know, just hearing them give these orders out loud. So everybody could learn and everybody could hear to be the most effective ship when you're no longer in combat, or sorry, when you're no longer able to have your entire team fielding their own ships. Now, what we see on the flip side with the Royal Black Fleet, comprised of the three regiments we've seen in prior weeks, and even in the ex Naval League earlier this year, communication can be a bit of an issue. So, what I'm interested to see today is whether the RBF will be able to overcome the stress of competing as a single team, or if they'll struggle with the same issues that we've seen the other multi-regiment teams face.
Yeah, that's a good point. But definitely, if a team is made up of several regiments, that doesn't mean that it can't work well together.
Indeed.
If you have seen it, dear viewers here, last week we had a match where the Vought Coalition fought against the Seawolves team. Both of them were made up of 2 regiments each. So Vought Coalition was 15 PP and ESC, and Seawolves was 77th versus HLG. And it was a crushing victory for the Seawolves. So communication isn't all. Tactics and, you know, having discussed that beforehand, actually going in is also very important. So the teams have now loaded into the map. Today's map is called Kurakijin, and it is a very symmetrical map with a lot of open space in the middle and then some small islands on either side. And today, the Leviathans are on the French team. They are on the north side of the arena with the wind going southwest. So they have the wind behind them and they are on the dark green ships, while the Royal Black Fleet is on the British team. They have yellow ships and they have the wind against them, like at a diagonal angle. So what do you make of that wind positioning, Emmett?
So what we've seen in the past is, you know, sometimes if you're able to spawn with the wind, a lot of people think of that as an advantage. But what can actually happen is that if your formation is not tight, if your communication is not good, you can end up in a situation where your fleet formation is kind of out of whack. And sometimes the fleet with the wind against them initially have more time, and it's a bit more forgiving for them to get into position in order to make sure that they're in a good firing angle. But that's my observation. You can obviously tell me otherwise. You've got way more experience. You're in the X, the juggernaut of this battle right now.
Yeah, we'll see. So what we are seeing right now is that the Royal Black Fleet really is taking their time. As you said, they're starting against the wind. They won't get the drop anyway, so they are really starting slow here and forming up their fleet. It looks like with their flagship, their 13 gunner, which is today captained by the Admiral Gilly, in the lead, and then the 8 gunners behind that. I don't know if they have taken out any boats yet. I don't think so, although they have, for some reason, taken out a rowboat. The Royal Black Fleet have manned a rowboat with 3 people on board.
Interesting start.
One of them is Karen Metric, known carpenter enthusiast, today also playing a carpenter, heading straight for the Leviathans fleet. The Leviathans have also taken their time, it seems. They have not pushed quickly out of spawn, even though they have the wind. And they have formed in line abreast. I don't think we've seen that before.
That is something I wanted to bring up just now. I'm a little interested to see where they're going with this, because it's not usually something you'd see. And something to talk about this map is like it's a symmetrical map, as symmetrical as you can get. Last week, from what I saw, there was a symmetrical map. However, there were only 4 main islands in a diamond formation, evenly spread out. So it was a little bit more easy to predict where those regiments or those teams were going to get funneled into. Whereas here, it may not be as clear. And I'm thinking the Leviathans want to keep flexible with their formation to weave in
Yeah.
and out of these islands.
Yeah, I think this line abreast really offers an opportunity to turn either way and have the flagship be in the middle of a line. But like if they sail to the left, then the flagship will still be third in line, or to the right as well. The Leviathans have also, I see, taken out 2 gunboats, which
2 gunboats,
has been so far the usual start in the NSL. And there are definitely shots being fired. Oh, and the first kill by gunner from the Leviathans using the gunboat bow gun inflicted on that rowboat. Right, and it looks like the Leviathans have turned slightly to starboard and are now heading in a very loose, staggered line into the wind. No, that can't be right. I'm not sure if I've got the wind direction correctly, actually. I thought it was going southwest.
It is supposed to be going southwest as per the pre-game meeting with the regiments. However, if you're observing differently,
It
then
doesn't look like it, because the Leviathan's fleet has their square sails set going southwest. So, oh no, wait, I've got it turned around. Yeah, of course, they're going with the wind southwest. I just got confused because I am not a captain, which is why also I'm today commentating and not actually fighting, even though I am part of X, which is forming the Leviathans team. So I would like to hear from Wavy, maybe. Wavy, you are on the Leviathan's flagship, right?
That I am, and the fighting here has started. And in fact, they've just lost a cannon. Sarcasm lost his cannon, and Supple is down as well with it.
All right, and what did Supple do there? That he was
Well,
supposed to let
he
down?
has been running around as the deck chief, getting all of the mercenaries organised, but obviously he's taking a well-earned break from that as he stitches himself back together.
Right, and
Seawolf has also just been killed.
Oh, and what role does he fill today?
He's on the front gun, with the carronade at the front, which is still up and active, although there's no one firing it at the minute.
All right, that is indeed interesting, and it seems that the gunboats of the Leviathans might be blocking the shots of the flagship here. Is that accurate?
The flagships are able to fire across the gunboats, but those gunboats will be taking some of the hits that are meant for the flagship.
Ah, so you think that is a deliberate tactic on their part?
It must be. They would have gotten out of the way by now if they were meant to have done so.
So what I'm seeing currently is a situation developing here where we have the Leviathan's fleet still in a line, whereas the Royal Black Fleet now is more of a line abreast, so all the fire of the Leviathans is focused on a single 8-gun. Do we have a correspondent on that 8-gun of the Black Fleet?
Back of the ship, back of the ship.
It doesn't seem that we do, so I'll just zoom in here for a bit. So this is the 8-gun that is captained by Splunker K of the FRL. So that is the third 8-gun of the original line, and it is being hammered right now. Yeah, while the rest of the Black Fleet is trying to get back into position. So what I'm also seeing is that one of the boats that the Royal Black Fleet have taken out is a rocket boat there. So they actually have a rocket boat currently leading their flag fleet going to the northwest, trying to probably hook behind the Leviathans. But at the same time, it seems that their flagship has some trouble firing across its own 8-gun to try and hit the Leviathan's flagship. And one of the 8-guns is completely out of position here, just slowly trying to get back into line. So, Mika, what is currently happening on the ship you are on?
Not much happening, to be honest. We're just exchanging fire with the enemy fleet line, trying to get any desperate hits in, trying to equalize the situation a bit at least.
Do you think the gunners on your ship are in range?
I don't believe so. I haven't seen any hits. that would have been actually happening.
So that's interesting. The 8 guns are basically out of range, yeah? At least you in the second line of their 8 guns, because they have their fleet in 2 lines at the moment.
Exactly.
Alright. Interesting. Alright. So, at the rear of the Leviathan's fleet here, their 2 gunboats are keeping close together and starting, I believe, to engage the enemy boats. The Leviathan's boats here, one of them is captained by Safe and the other, I believe, by Gunner, although we will know in a minute. No, Gunner is on the front gun, it's captained by Link Nito. And they are engaging the Royal Black Fleet flagship, charging straight into the enemy fleet. Probably now the time is to sink a boat. And I see that we have a first ship sunk. Right. The Royal Black Fleet have lost one of their 8 gunners. So that's something. So they have lost an 8 gunner, so they will now have to make up for that loss to keep points equal and still have a chance to win. Lucius, what is currently happening where you are?
Well, right now we're sitting around 3/4 of the health on that ship here. We've currently lost 1 gun so far, and pretty much we've been firing consistently, hitting all our shots for the most part, aiming for the French flagship here. Surprisingly enough, we've been getting a lot of hits despite being at a far range, so that has been something to keep an eye on.
Oh yeah, definitely. So and how has communication been on board?
It's been relatively quiet. Sorry to cut you off. It's been relatively quiet. Nothing too crazy. I believe they have their own voice comms going in a separate channel, but nothing in VoIP right now.
All right, that's interesting to hear. Could you look behind yourself, please, off the stern of your ship? I believe there is actually 2 gunboats, both Leviathan gunboats, trying to rake the stern of your ship.
Get on the cannon, get on the cannon.
Yeah. All right. So no, go ahead.
There has just been a little bit of friendly fire from the French flagship into the 8 guns that are blocking its shots.
Oh, that's interesting. All right. Let's see that then.
I think they've corrected it now, but I will say, going on from the earlier report from the person on the British flagship, that so far they seem to have got the better of the exchange between the flagships. The French one is down by 2 guns and seems to have had a bit of difficulty dialing its shots in to get hits.
Right.
Just judging by the VoIP communications.
Yeah. So you actually do hear communication on deck then, right? So you
yeah, I do on here.
They are talking there. All right, interesting. What I can see from the overhead is that the Leviathans are bringing 2 of the 8 guns back around, which took a circle the other way around, I think, in order to deal with the enemy rocket boat. And that they are also... Yeah, they are still dealing with that rocket boat. Do we have any correspondence in one of these ships?
Yeah, I'm on one of the lovely little ships, but unfortunately, killing these poor ships just getting out of spawn.
Oh, right, yes, right next to the Royal Black Fleet spawn then, yeah?
Yeah, so it seems the fleet just took position, hid amongst the enemy rocket boats and gunboats. They even took some of their own hits from their own ships, the little gunboat and rocket boats did. And yeah, they've just waited for them to come in and just opened up as soon as that sail went down.
Yeah, right. So for our viewers' information, as long as the ships are not moving and in spawn, they aren't a valid target, so they're not being shot at, hopefully. But as soon as they are being shot. And I am currently seeing here a unmanned British gunboat which has been shot at by the French flagship and is continued to be shot at. So that is a... Yeah, and there's the admin message, just as I was saying that. So I hope the Leviathans are taking... Yeah, taking that to heed.
Top mast.
Just to draw you over the other side, a couple of
Yeah.
ships have now lost their mast. One of the British had lost both of its, and one of the French 8 guns had lost one as well.
That is interesting. And I see here a boarding attempt is unfurling on one of the French 8 guns. There is a British rowboat on its stern, and they have actually managed to board the Leviathan 8 gun here, and the captain's off the wheel. And I see FRL Glock has taken down 2 of the crew here and is still going, still fighting, and down it goes. So Karen Candless got him, but there's only 2 people currently alive on this Leviathan 8 gun. One of them got shot by another boarder that has appeared, actually. Splunker K, the captain of the first ship that went down, I believe. I'm not sure about that, but he boarded and shot one of them. But now I believe the Leviathans are back in control of their 8 gun here, and able to return fire, though not able to move much because they have lost their second mast.
Yeah, I can help plod.
Right. Right, Amit, what do you think so far of this development of this battle? Is there any kind of
Might have something here for you.
yeah? Let's
So
see.
the 8 gun one split off from the rest of the X fleet, and they've come around to hit the British. British 13 gun, which is currently completely demasted. However, they have exposed themselves to the 2 8 guns ahead of it.
Jackson, you're loaded.
Yeah, I can see that. All right. They might get their T's crossed by these other 8 guns, but at the moment at least they are hammering that lone British 8 gun. And I've just got words, so dear viewers, don't worry. Emmett will be back with us shortly. His power just went out. So that's why we didn't hear from him. So let's keep an eye on that situation for a minute. They are really pounding that 8 gun, though it does still manage to keep in rotation with at least one of them. That is the Royal Black Fleet 8 gun here, which is captained by the Doctor, the 26th. And they still have, I believe, 2 cannons up on their starboard side, which is facing the 2 Leviathan ships.
Oh, got something here, possibly boarders.
Let's see it. Who are you and where are you?
Lucius here on 13 British gun.
Yeah.
Hold on, making my way to the back here, but it looks like we actually boarded them by the looks of it.
Oh yeah, so we have two British Marines here, which are FRL Monkey Cheese and Karen Cameron, who have successfully boarded and uncrewed the Leviathan rocket boat here. And there's now a melee fight ensuing while that rocket boat is shot in the stern by by some of the Black Sea Fleet's ships.
Actually,
Especially,
appears,
yeah.
it actually appears that they beached the ship.
Clear all your
Yeah,
shots.
but they're down now, so Leviathans are back in control of their rocket boat. Well, one of them is, at least, but they are being shot at by an 8 gun and a gunboat. So far, they have kept their rocket launcher and both of their swivel guns, though, so once the second person on there respawns... one of them fell off, and I believe the rocket boat is down. Leviathans have lost their rocket boat. That was good action by the crew of the Black Sea Fleet 13 gunner, which has, by the way, continuously spawned rowboats with carpenters on them throughout this match. I don't think to too much avail so far, but they are certainly trying to get that boarding action in. Mika, what are you seeing?
Well, I watched the 8 gun just pummel the French rocket boat out there. But pretty much other than that, it's quiet at the sea right now. The 8 gunner seems to be trying to reposition for the actual battle.
Yeah, I can see that you are basically sailing in parallel with the Leviathan's fleet, although I think they are out of your range. And you're linking up with your 13 gun, yeah?
Exactly.
And what is that Black Sea Fleet 13 gun doing, Lucius?
Because we can't when you're still looking.
How is it looking for you?
Sorry. At the moment, we are currently just swinging around right to get back into action here. As you can see, the rest of the team is pretty disengaged from the fight, other than that gunboat off to the east here. Other than that, it's pretty much looking like we're gonna make line once again and start turning towards them.
Yeah. So, as I guess the dedicated statistician of the NSL, I just want to quickly draw your attention to one player I want to highlight, which is the 8LR Regiment's Sham, who is today on the carronade of the Royal Black Fleet's flagship. So that is Sham over here. And Sham is one of the highest scoring in the past matches players on that team, and has continued to live up to that expectation, it seems, as Sham is currently the highest scoring player on the British team. So they have apparently just sunk another one of the Leviathans' boats before it could really get into action, a gunboat it seems, and now the Leviathans are bringing out another rocket boat. But Sham and his crew here on the 13 gun are targeting the Leviathan flagship once again. So on the opposite team, I just want to see if I can find a certain player, and I'll be right back to you. In the meantime, Wavy, what is happening on the Leviathan's flagship?
Well, they have turned around and they're now engaging with the Black Sea Fleet again, shooting at their 8-gunners. They're not the Black Sea Fleet, they're the Royal Black Fleet. More interestingly, I think, is the French 8-gun that lost both of its masts appears to have been kind of positioned itself to shoot at any of the British boats that come out of their spawn.
All right, yeah, that's. I mean, they weren't there before.
Ship. Right? Yeah, but they've angled themselves across. That I can't help but wonder if that's very specifically to try and deal with any attacks from behind by spawning in gunboats and rocket boats.
I think they are. Yeah, I think they are. That is the masted ship captained by Amjugan, who's not even on the wheel currently, but just spectating the enemy spawn, and they are sitting there with their three guns primed there, just daring any boat to come out. So yeah, that is definitely an angle. So far, let's take a tally. How many 8 guns have gone down? I actually have lost sight of it.
2 on the British side and none on the French side.
Thank you. So the close scores is actually because the Leviathans have lost more boats than the Royal Black Fleet. Is that right?
Yeah, they've lost a lot more of their boats. Well, I say a lot more, it's actually only 1 more now.
Yeah. But
it's quite an interesting regrouping of these this French fleet here, given that one of their ships is out there, dead in the water, but great observation. You can see right now one of those gunboats coming out, or one of the remaining smaller ships from the UK side is coming out, so it looks like they're definitely looking to prevent that from doing a lot of damage.
Oh, that was just an explosion, caused, I believe, by 63E.
I don't know if you noticed this just now, Warble, but the Leviathans just lost their final smaller boat, so that's done for them. The Royal Black Fleet still have theirs. I don't think that's going to be able to turn the tide here. Granted, if they can do some real damage on the 13 gun, the flagship for the Leviathans, I'm not certain that's going to happen, but we're coming down to the final couple of minutes. Anything can happen right now.
Wavy.
Yeah, so I think, well, the point is, basically, if the Royal Black Fleet managed to just sink the Leviathan's flagship, they would win, right? Because then they would have an equal number of ships, but they would still have the 13 guns. So they're keeping that one back, it seems. and hoping that the Leviathans don't manage to sink any of their remaining 8 guns, and they in turn, to focus fire, sink the Leviathan's 13 gun. And I think the Leviathans notice because they are moving backwards. 2 of their 4
That's
ships
right.
are actually moving backwards right now. Squad cells set, probably pressing the S key as hard as they can on their keyboards to try to move rearwards with these 8 guns and try to shield the 13 gun from the incoming fire as best they can.
Speaking of which, let's get an HP check on some of these flagships. For the Leviathan side, we've got about a quarter amount of HP left on that. Lucius, you're on the Black Fleet's flagship, correct? Can you give us an idea of how much HP it has left?
It's actually quite very low here. I'd say about 20% at most left on here on this flagship. That's why we're probably staying back, because we still have 5 good cannons by the looks of it. We're just trying to range them out and snipe as much as we can here.
Yeah, and it looks like you're managing some cannon explosions, although now they happen to be on the Leviathan's 8 guns, who are at the moment not really decisive. But you also have still your 1 gunboat, which is now positioned firmly behind the Leviathan's flagship and just raking its stern, with none of the ships of the Leviathans currently positioned to stop it, although it seems like their rearmost 8 gun is turning to try and engage that gunboat before it fells their flagship.
You know what I
And
will
that-
say about that Warble, though, is that there's a lot of incoming fire on these 8 guns, onto the Leviathan's 8 guns. So, you know, it seems that they're just positioned to distract in these final 15 seconds of the match here, especially given that they have so much HP left on these ships. We still got basically 2 full health 8 guns on the Leviathans and 1 at half health, so it's looking like it's going to come down to... oh, well,
Leviathan's flagship just went down.
that just went down.
Holy shit!
Does that mean...
That is, yes, I think
No.
that is a Royal Black Fleet win. I
No,
believe
I
so.
think
Leviathans
they've lost because they lost an 8 gun just at the end.
Did they? Or was it
They
the
did, yeah.
gunboat?
I think it was an 8 gun. Nothing was shooting at the gunboat, was it?
Yes, it was. One of the Leviathan's 8 guns shot at the gunboat. So we'll have a second to figure out which team actually won here. I'm currently waiting on confirmation to see who won. As soon as anyone can tell me, please speak up freely. Yeah, that was really close, as we suspected. The Leviathan's flagship was really quite low, and they were trying to protect it, but the Royal Black Fleet got their gunboat behind it, which I think was sunk last second and caused the equal score in-game, but would actually mean that with the sunk Leviathan flagship, that by the rules of the NSL, the Royal Black Fleet would have won by still retaining their flagship and having the same number of larger ships as the Leviathans here. So yeah, so I'm just trying to figure out. We still don't know who won. This may be actually a case where we have to re-watch some of the footage to find out, unless we can get someone in here from these fleets who can tell us which ship in the end went down. So the question actually now is, in this last second, or last 10 seconds, did the Royal Black Fleet 8 guns sink or their gunboat?
I'll
If the
tell
8
you
guns-
this, Warble. Sorry, continue. Apologies.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I was also recording that on my own end, and unfortunately, some of the viewers may have recognized here right now that my microphone sounds different. We've been having all kinds of storms here today. Power's been going out. I was recording. I would have the ability to go and check it, but perhaps our director may be able to do something about that. We'll find out soon. But this goes back to like what I was telling you about just about almost 10 minutes ago. The Leviathans were trying to push the Royal Black Fleet into a corner, and you know what happens when you push an animal into the corner? It becomes crazed and it fights its way out if it can.
Yeah, it seems so. So this went much more closer in the end, and now it seems that we have a confirmation.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, can you confirm that in the end the last ship of the Royal Black Fleet that went down was one of their 2 8-guns and not that gunboat?
It was an 8-gun. At the end of the round, they had a 13-gun and an 8-gun remaining. At the end of the round, we had 3 8-guns remaining. So we did win that one.
Are we sure? Because I see different conversation just now going on here.
No, we sunk the 8-gun. My ship sunk the 8-gun. I saw it.
You are sure, and that it wasn't the gunboat that was behind your flagship that was also targeted at the time?
No, that sunk as well, but that wasn't it.
Okay, hold up, because I see.
Yeah, bring them in here and let them say what they
conflicting
want.
information from the back room here.
Well, do we have it recorded?
We will have. Yeah, we do have it recorded, I think.
We'll have to, if you can test it, then we'll have to look.
Just to interject, I've just got a screenshot from Metric which shows that the British only had 2 8-guns at the end.
The British only had the British had 2 8-guns.
Hang on. Wait,
or
no,
an
sorry.
8-gun and a 13-gun.
2 8-guns and a 13.
They had 2 8-guns and a 13-gun at the end.
Yeah.
And no gunboat.
That's what the screenshot's telling me.
That is at the time of
just
the...
verify what time this was taken at.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's all about
Right.
because if that's the case, then they won.
Yeah, no, this one's too
Yeah,
early.
exactly. We are
Too early,
all
too
very
early.
excited here currently, and we're
Yeah,
telling everyone we are trying to figure out what is going on.
This is
here.
where things get very complicated because the rules state that it's about who has the most large ships left.
Yeah, exactly.
I was under the impression that we sunk the 13. We left them with a 13 and an 8-gun. That was my impression.
Maybe, or you left, the thing you sunk at the last minute was actually their gunboat. So
I'm almost certain that is not the case. But yeah, we need proof.
Are we sure? I'm currently trying to contact the back rooms here.
But
What
yeah,
a
I mean,
time to be in the stream, guys. What a
Yeah, this is
Hello.
crazy. This is really fun.
So while we wait for a confirmation who actually won this, welcome, as you already heard him, the host of the last 3 weeks, Lemerck, the admiral of the Leviathans, one of the 2 teams. I can't yet say if they were the winners or the losers that were playing today. So, Lemerck, now that we have you here, congratulations on a well-fought match. Either way, if you
one way or the other, it
lost,
was a great battle. One way or the other.
So, Lemerck, what were your expectations going into this battle and leading the Leviathans?
Yeah, we came up with a fun little way to deploy our fleet. I think you guys may have saw in the beginning where we kind of formed this like horizontal.
Again, the X here, we're in competition with another one of the
KRN.
the KRN, currently known as the Krakens of the NSL, and we do have a confirmed win for the Leviathans here.
Yes.
Congratulations, Warble. Apologies. Continue.
So no, that's fine. I think I just confused everyone because I was too excited.
Listen, this is
an exciting
my
time.
home regiment lose.
Even my crewmen didn't know who won that battle. Everybody was like, "Did we win?" I have no idea. But the moment we sunk that 8-gun, the moment that we left them with 2 ships, even if my flagship sunk, I knew we were going to win because of the numbers.
Yeah, but the confusion now was: did you actually sink that 8-gun, or did you sink the gunboat? And it wasn't clear from the overhead view. So that's but the gunboat actually has had 1/3 health still up, it seems, from the screenshot.
Yeah, if we could get a clip back, that's awesome. Really, I mean, a phenomenal battle. All I could say is that obviously they've renamed themselves, so I want to get it right, but I think it's the Royal Black Fleet. The Royal Black Fleet has, I mean, that's an incredible team. It's an incredible team with some incredible captains, and they really did a great job at getting that 13-gun to hit when it wanted to hit, and then to get out when it wanted to get out. Whereas, I think for us, we at the end. So by mid-battle, we were getting very confident, right? We demasked it. We sunk a ship. We wanted to regroup, but we found ourselves a lot of times like aimed at each other. Half of the fleet's pointing in one direction, half of the fleet's pointing in the other. So we really wanted to make sure at the end of it that we were together. Atticus asked me, who was the kind of the lead of the two ships that broke off at the end, if he could do something a little aggressive, and I said yes, thinking again. Our running thought at the end of this battle is that 13 needs to be on its last leg. If we can get anything in there to hit that 13,
but they
that
knew
we,
it and they kept
but
it
they
back.
knew it,
Right?
and they did such a great job of holding it back, to the point where I'm the one who went down instead of them. But you know, just
and that was very close because your ship went down before theirs, right? So
Uh-huh.
no,
not before their 8 gun went down. No, their 8 gun went down, and then I believe
Then you. Okay, but
then
it was
I think their
very
13 gun
close.
sunk me. I think their 13 gun sunk me. I
Yeah,
don't
but
think
it
it was
was
like
all in the last like 10 seconds.
yeah,
The two
everything.
ships went down, and like that was wow, that was really close. We had a comparison earlier during the match where we compared it to last week.
Yeah.
And what you know, a crushing victory that was, and this really wasn't. Like in the
No, it
middle
wasn't.
in the middle of the round, you were doing, as you said, pretty well with your demastered, like Andrew Gunn's demastered 8 gun there, keeping watch on their spawn and
Yeah, you like that?
making
That
their
was fun.
whole line turn away. Although by turning away, they then were in safety and could reserve their 13 gun. So. Coming back to this, right? What was your strategy and your expectations? You said a bit. All right, you started off with this line abreast.
Right.
Why?
So we one of the weaknesses of snaking, like right, so where there's the 13 gun and then directly behind is an 8 and an 8 and an 8 and an 8, is that the 13 gun turns into rotation against the enemy, and then after it, like it's sort of like a very slow procession to get all your cannons into rotation, and we felt with that sort of abreast formation as you described, we'd be able to turn all of our cannons in at once. Everything turns in at once. We just turn with the wind, and we have that whole line there. It was very experimental. I wanted to see how it turned out. And you know, I don't know that I would use it again, to be honest with you. It was a fun idea. I don't know that I would use it a second time because it's very difficult to maneuver. They did it. My captains did an amazing job, and we had some captain substitutions at the last minute, and it wasn't all gone according to plan. I think Treehouse was supposed to be one of the captains, and we ended up putting Motley in as one of the captains because Treehouse came to training after I'd explained how everything worked, and I just didn't have time to explain it to him again. Motley had practiced the formation, and so I told him, you know, take it away, and he did a great job. I just want to really shout out to him.
Because just to confirm, Motley is not actually a captain usually.
No, he's not a captain. He's a currently, I think, somewhere mid-ranked in our hierarchy, but he is a very vocal and good deck officer. So I thought that he would be able to marshal a crew really well, and he does have some experience. You know, everybody in X has some experience. We play a lot of pubs. You know, we play at a lot of events. Everybody has a little bit of experience doing a lot of things. So I trusted him, and he really did not disappoint at all. Nor did any of the other captains. Nor did the crews. You know, so after that. After our opening and experimenting with that, you know, we did kind of come close to something circular. You know, we got into what I would say is like a bit of a death spiral, but they backed out of it. Right? They kind of left the death spiral, and then at that point, that's where we were really feeling our oats. And I think that's where we ended up making some mistakes. We split up the fleet. We didn't get band together, and we didn't press the attack against the 13 gun. And like I said, they just did such a great job reserving that 13 gun so we couldn't sink it. And so, you know, because of that, then we were trying to pick off 8 guns. You know, a lot of the strategy today ended up being, you know, their 13 gun was the furthest ship from us. And so we thought, okay, well, we'll just pick off some 8 guns and we'll leave the 13 gun to later. So we did. We picked off a few of their 8 guns, but that left their 13 gun to do a lot of damage to us. And I think the 13 gun had a really great performance this round. Definitely the ship that I think did the most to disrupt us and make us second guess some of our decisions. So, you know, definitely like a lot of respect to the captains of their team.
Yeah.
I think they did such a great job.
With some of these challenges, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, with some of these challenges that you've seen happen today, granted you tried some new strategy. You said you're not sure if you'll try that again, but in relation to the RBF's, you know, pretty good performance from what we saw today. How are you going to take that and work it into your tactics and strategy for your upcoming matches?
So, you know, one of the things we were really hoping to avoid was to go directly into the wind because the 13 gun is so very slow. But I think that's what they started to do an against the wind thing, and I think it really benefited them. Their opening move to start by going against the wind so that they had the win. We've talked about this in our stream. You start against the wind, but by mid round you've got the wind. And I think I have to be a little bit more standard with how I approach some of my battle strategies. Like don't try and reinvent the wheel. Get back to basics. And rely not just on the fact that there are certain parts of a battlefield that are stronger, right? Like being down against the wind and then being able to turn and catch the wind. That is a stronger position. And also to trust my cannoneers more so that they, if I put them in a good position, in a classically tactically good position, that they will perform for me, because I still do believe I've got the best cannoneers of all holdfasts, and I got to let them do their thing.
Great advice for everyone.
Yeah, I think so. So we'll come. Well, I don't know if we'll come back to too much for you, Merc, but for the moment, I want to turn to Gilly. Thank you for joining us. You are the Admiral of the Royal Black Fleet in today's match. Welcome. And congratulations on a very well fought battle. And we were here in the control room for several minutes trying to figure out if you had won or lost. Now it happens that you have lost basically in the last 15 seconds, barely. But you managed to sink the Leviathan's 13 gun. So it was very close. So Gilly, congratulations. How do you feel after the match?
I feel really good about it. I think it was very engaging and it was an interesting match. We found ourselves as a coalition in bad positions, but we're able to turn that around and salvage our fleet when our fleet was in bad positions and in jeopardy of being destroyed. I think that, like you said, the deliberating at the end, it caught a lot of us by surprise. We thought we wanted it first, but careful reading of the rules, we did lose it by one ship. Knowing that it came down to the last 15, 30 seconds of the match even makes it that much more painful of a loss, if you will. But also it's a really good foundation to build off of, because X is the naval regiment of Holdfast without a doubt. So just being able to contend and show not just our skill, but skill from the FRL, skill from the 26th. I think we operated good as a fleet. So I try to focus on things we can control, not what we can't. And we did a good job with that today.
You definitely did. It was very fun to watch, very engaging. There was a lot going on at all times, and it was, closely matched. It was, as you said, it came down to the last few seconds, and at most points during the match, it seemed that the Leviathans had a slight advantage. For the longest time they had more, or they still had all the 8 gunners when you, I think, only had 2 left. And they were blockading your spawn, but still, you really managed to turn it around, I think, by focusing so much on their flagship, on their 13 gun, and trying to get that down. So what was your expectations and your strategy going into this match, Gilly?
We didn't want to get into prolonged shootouts with X, knowing how often they practice naval loading and shooting. We weren't trying to play their game, so we were trying to be a bit more maneuverable, and we didn't expect their fleet to split. And once we saw the 13 and an 8 gun separate from the other 8s, we kind of saw that as an opportunity. We could be a bit more aggressive. I did forget about the 8 gun that had its mask on, and I almost drove us right into it and lost us. I think, like Lemerc said, you could have probably put a penny up to the screen, and that was how much health our 13 gun had. So we were just trying to keep that alive as our strongest weapon, while also trying to minimize your guys' 13 gun being your strongest weapon as well.
Yeah, that and it really worked. You managed to keep it out of range well after that, and we saw the point where you basically sailed into that blocking ship and suddenly turned off. But I think that worked to your advantage, because you then increased the range to the main body of the Leviathan's fleet. You, in contrast to the Leviathans, your fleet, as you mentioned, is a coalition of 3 regiments plus mercenaries. So in past weeks, for example, with the Vought Coalition and also to part with the Jackals, we talked about communication between different crews who are not used to working together, different captains. So how did you approach communications within your coalition fleet, and how did it work out?
Regarding that, I do have to give a big shout out to Splunker. Splunker is the one who reached out to us and brought the idea of a coalition to my attention. Frankie of the 26th and Zadokir have both put in a lot of work as well. So I think there's just a general want between all the regs to want to do well, and people are willing to sacrifice. Even us, doesn't matter who's on the 13 gun, doesn't matter who's fleet admiral, but we all just want to do well, and we all have the same goal. So that's why we're able to play well, I believe.
Yeah, looks like it works definitely, and I really look forward to see what you'll do in coming matches with that. And for example, do you plan to switch out your admiral role between the different regiments? I've heard that, for example, I think that the Jackals wanted to do that. Told me.
I have a lot of respect for the 26 and the FRL and the people who run them. So if that's something that we as a group decides in the best interest of the coalition, I have absolutely no problem doing that. We all kind of agreed together that this might have been the best lineup, if you will, going into the match, and I think it worked very well. Obviously,
Definitely.
it's perfect. Yeah, and you can tweak some things to improve stuff, but we put a lot of preparation into this event, and I told them proper preparation prevents poor performance, and I think just all across the board, everyone had that mentality.
100%. Could you tell us a little bit more about that preparation? Because at the beginning of, in the pre-battle stages, I was discussing with Warbleworth, like the experience that the three of you regiments had with Naval, and while you're no stranger to it, earlier this year in the ex-Naval League, the 26th, I believe, was the only group that had participated in that. Is this your first time, Gilly, the 8th LR, as well as the FRL, participating in any sort of naval competition?
Yes, first time across the board for everyone in the 8th LR, at least.
Okay, so the three groups, like you obviously prepared, you knew who was going to be your captains. Was there anything you did in game to prepare for that?
We once we were able to kind of get an idea of what the config was going to be for the event, we practiced sailing together. Just simple movements, maintaining good spacing, not ramming each other in the rear, and creating a cluster, which is also an opportunistic shot for the enemy fleet.
Yeah,
Well,
and
that's good.
we talked about that, right, during the match, where we said, oh yeah, they're just moving around to trying to get back into position and getting back into formation. We said that at different points about both fleets, because yeah, it seems that both fleets today were well coordinated, and just looking basically from an overhead view, one couldn't easily tell that one was made up of a coalition of 3 regiments and one wasn't. So yeah, really, hats off for that. I think you pulled that off very well. So what are you taking away from this match and taking into your next matches in this NSL preseason?
I think the positives from this match, our shooting was very well. I think myself as the lead ship of the line at points, I kind of screwed the team over, being stationary in the wind, not being always moving. So I know that kind of hurt some of our back 8 guns, but they kind of knew that they were going to be the ones that kind of get put in that position where they may get shot by everyone, and they took it on the chin, and they, you know, there's not really much negatives, I would say, that we need to improve on. I think it was just a really close match, and we got to ride with the positives and just kind of keep the energy going forward. I don't think there's one thing that in particular lost us the match. It was really close.
Yeah, it definitely was. And well, there's basically no chance in this game, but as good as chance is like trying to hit a cannon at like 450 meters or more. So yeah, it was just so close. So well, I don't think we really asked Mark this question head on. So what are you, that from maybe not going line abreast again, what are you learning from this match and taking forward into the NSL with the Leviathans?
First off, I just want to say, like, Gilly, you guys did just such a great job. Like, seriously, please pass on to everybody on your team, like, my highest compliments for the battle today. It was such a good battle. I had so much fun. I hope you guys did too. I'd say that, you know, taking away, you know, I kind of talked about it a little bit before, I feel, but, you know, it's getting back to basics. You know, we do have a reputation in the community as being very good at naval, but you know, that doesn't mean that I can afford to like be trying new things, or asking my captains to do something they've never done before, like 3 hours before an event or anything like that. Like I think as admiral, I want to get back to basics and really just put out strong lines, strong wind usage, strong fleet formation, and like I said, just those basics, which everybody in this league has been showing a really good mastery of, and our opponents today showed an exceptional mastery of, and it's just to keep on those basics, and I can't think of too much else that I'm going to bring back to the training camp aside from that, and then to just make sure that Mike, I think the only other thing is, not breaking up the fleet so much. I think that was like Gilly said, like that was a moment where they saw like, oh, we could turn this around, and they did. There's no question. Like the first half of the battle was ours, the second half of the battle was theirs, and that's the only thing, like you said, it's not like they did a bad job. It's just the only thing that they just didn't catch up enough in that last half of the battle to get the win, as opposed to just sinking one more ship. Whereas I felt that the splitting up from us gave them that opportunity, and I don't think I'd do it again if I went back and had another shot. I don't think I'd do it again. Keep us together.
Yeah. All right. I think basically, yeah, that was your closing words. So just with an announcement, Gilly, do you have any last words for this broadcast?
I want to say thank you, Lamerck, for your wise and kind words. Imitation is the biggest form of flattery. So a lot of the things you guys do as a reg, we see it, we notice it works, and we're not too hard-headed to adapt skills like that. So again, just playing against you guys and doing as well as we did, it was a great opportunity. I'm a fan of great competition, and I think today was one of those examples. Thank you, FRL, Splunker K. Thank you to the 26th, Frankie and the Doctor. And lastly, thank you again to the brave members of the 8th LR.
Right. Thank you, both of you, for coming here for this interview. Thank you for giving us this exciting match. And to our viewers, we know that we had some technical difficulties in the middle of the stream and it went down for a bit. We should have a backup VOD that we will be probably able to stitch together to a full match that we will upload on our YouTube channel. So once that is up, we'll let you know in the Discord servers, and by latest, of course, by next week, you'll be able to rewatch this match before you watch the next one. Speaking of which, at the same time, at the same place, next week, again on Sunday, there will be a NSL battle, which will see two teams that we have already seen. It will be the Kraken versus the Jackals of the Baltic Sea. So our first return teams, where we will actually have the opportunity by then to talk about some of the captains and some of the players, because we have seen them before. So I'm really excited for that and see how they perform against a new enemy, and also, I believe, on a new map that we haven't seen before in this league. Amit, any comments from you before we close?
Love you all.
Apparently not. All right, then I would like to thank everyone for watching, and I would like to thank everyone here with me behind the scenes in the broadcast center. First of all, my wonderful co-commentator Amit, whose power just went out again, and our correspondents here, Wavy, Lucius, Mika, and Sabo. Thank you for being here with us, for basically abstaining from playing as mercenary and instead delivering for us here this wonderful collaborative broadcast. And also thank you to Mr. Dr. Professor here, for our director today, who battled technical difficulties to get the stream back online. Right, I think that covers it and sums it up, and I would like to thank you all very much again for watching, and all the teams who participate in the NSL for fighting and giving us these best battles, I think, that Hillfast Naval has seen so far. Right, with that, see you all next week, and bye-bye.